born to win, one of the iconic brands in Dota 2. As I bring in our new panel here for the second series today, I've got Lacoste and Tsunami. A little color coordination going on with you guys. Did you get together this morning and plan this?
If we got together and planned it, we would have done not the same thing.
All right, fair enough. Highlighted in that profile, though, is one of the things that we've been talking a lot about with Navi, and that is their drafting, their leadership, their shot calling. Dendy's talking about how he's asked to be the captain and drafter as they're bringing in LeBron in the 5 position, who's not necessarily comfortable yet in that leadership role. Navi, little bit shaky, though, in the recent history. What do you think they need to do today to turn the results around against SG?
I had a time before the game to sit with Navi players. I was talking to Dendy, LeBron, and General about what's happening in the team. LeBron said that Dandy wants to be the one that is doing the picks. He talks a lot with Host, but he wants to be the one that actually leads the game and gets all the decision for them, what they need to do after the picks are done. Even for the picks, like you can see that Host is doing picks with him, but he wants to be alone. Like they discuss those things before the games even start. They're feeling really confident about this series in particular. They feel like a good atmosphere in the team, even though they lost yesterday.
Well, they will have the home crowd behind them for sure. Tsunami, you think that's the solution? Get those leadership issues sorted out?
I know you were a pretty common critique of Seneko leaving was that the strongest voice had left, and teams more often than not are showing that shot calling, late game decision making, something that we had praised Vegas Squadron for very much in the yesterday's series. It can salvage what other shortcomings are. Like if you're mechanically not as skilled, if your rotations aren't as strong, if you're able to withstand and make it to a late game situation, then the game can completely change with just a few decisions. Like we saw in that previous series just now, Kingwin winning game 2 despite what seemed like peculiar decision making, sitting in the top lane for a good like 5-minute portion of time. It's that kind of unconventional thought that can often save games for what should be a lost situation. No,
I mean, I think, again, after having spent a brief time coaching myself, one of the things that I always hammered into was, look, a suboptimal strategy executed by all 5 players will usually beat an optimal strategy where they're not on the same page.
Also, Host is their like psychologist. There's a lot of players, I'm not gonna name them, who are maybe harder to actually deal with.
I
mean, maybe they're just more passionate about the game, so when they lose, they tend to take it personally. So he is the one that needs to calm them down, which is a great thing. Like he helps them with the draft, and you want to have that human side
and
effect.
Having Dendy as well. I mean, in the interview, he said he's a very cheerful person, and it comes through in his play as well. The one pro player that my mom knows is Dendy, and
I think that's true for a lot of people, right? From outside of Dota.
Exactly, and she always asks me how he's doing in competitive, and oftentimes I'm like, well, you know, he's okay. And she whenever I went to the last international, she was like, she calls her Dandy. I don't know if she knows the spelling or not, but whatever the case, she was like, is Dandy going to be there? I'm like, no.
He'll probably be there, maybe in a punch suit.
Right. And so he shows up, and then my mom like texts me, and she's super excited. She's like, oh, Dandy almost beat Musk's bot and all that business. And I was like, this is this kind of positive mentality is something that it's a reason why he's been a mainstay of the team. It's not just his brand value, but the fact that it's easy to build a team around someone who's easy to get along with.
Yeah, and it's got to be said, we are, you know, despite the results, we can talk about Navi's needs, but Dendy has been a great ambassador for our game for a very long time. So let's talk on the other side of things. A little bit unusual as a news item this morning. This is not SG Esports, but South America is getting a little bit of an injection as it became all but official that we is going to be playing for Pain Gaming.
Yeah,
so
I mentioned it yesterday that I know that one of the Europeans is going back to South America, but now it's official. Pain Gaming kind of need that mid laner that is active. They had arms, which I think a lot of us saw that he's not working with the team. They actually wanted to play with a different player, but he wasn't able to play with them, so they swapped and had arms. It was just for the couple of the tournaments.
But let's talk about the team that we are going to be covering today going up against Navi. This is SG Esports, and a little bit unusual. There are actually 2 coaches playing in this tournament. So Adam, obviously, we talked about extensively stepping in for Fnatic, but Kat, the coach, is stepping in here for SG. And this may be a little bit more fluid transition because, remember, Kat played for that team that shocked the world in upsetting Secret at the Kiev Major. Alongside, they had Tavo at the offlane on that particular squad. But he has a long history with this organization, knows all the players quite well, and has looked okay in the first couple of games.
Yeah, and especially in contrast to Fnatic Adams series, which was granted against a more difficult opponent, I would say, but the consistency was the biggest issue, and it just seemed like the positioning of Adam was off, whereas Kat on his support play, he didn't seem too focused on big picture, which is the only justification I could give for Adam's distractions, is that he was too busy worrying about his teammates and a kind of coach mentality, but Kat he just slipped back into a support role.
Key player for Pain Gaming, I'm going to pick Adriano, 40R their mid, because if you look at like the way Pain Gaming play around HFN, this team, Costabili is not the kind of hard farming carry that HFN is for Pain. Adriano, if you look at the stats, he is in their last 2 months, they are 25-2, I believe, when he is on the Death Prophet or the Dragon Knight. They are only 21-18 when he's on all other heroes.
Yeah, I mean, he is a really active mid laner and creates a lot of space for his team. He's one of my favorite South American players. I love his bottom, but bottom is not a hero at the moment, so he can't really pick it. But they are really versatile as a team. They picked in 3 games. They didn't even have a single hero that has been picked twice.
Very good puck player as well as Adriano. A lot of when going back to that Kiev Major, a lot of the story was around Tavo and his Enigma. It was really Adriano's puck that enabled so many of those big plays. What do you think about SG? You like him in the series today here?
You praised the core players, but I think Theolacore has been creeping.
Very nice.
His Willow play in their previous series, as you see here against Vega Squadron, fantastic. We were all very skeptical about the draft. It was Centaur, Crystal Maiden. These are heroes that you don't see typically, but they managed to take it off of some fantastic teamfight execution. The Wukong's Command, the Stampede, and the Terrorize from Theolacore was clutch. And he had some Tusk play also in the later series against Vega Squadron. Didn't come out on top, but he still had excellent rotations, and his snowball saves were pretty clutch as well.
Also the Sanking game with the 3-man Barrow and Epi. A little bit late Blink Dagger in that game, maybe if he got it before, but overall his positioning and like to see what's happening in the fight is extremely well. The timing, when to go in and out of the fights. You talked about the first draft, that they had the coordination. They just controlled the Bear and Abaddon with the Dark Willow, with Yule Scepters, Centaur 2, sometimes even 3-man Stomps. They always fight around the Wukong's Command, which actually gave them ability to return into the game.
Yeah, that Dark Willow on a damage efficiency basis, just absolutely incredible. We saw in a couple of games yesterday, able to solo core heroes with like 10K more net worth than she had well into the game. So I'm glad that you brought up Theolacore though, Tsunami, because I think the 4-position matchup is going to be really key in this series. Navi really looking for an identity draft-wise coming into this tournament. 16 different heroes they had drafted for Lil in the last 20 games, whereas SG much more stable at that position. I mentioned the Adriano stat earlier. They are also 24-7 over that same time period when Theolacore is playing either Elder Titan or Sand King. So I think that Navi, the pressure is on them to find a draft solution at that 4 role.
Yeah, and given the power rankings, I would suppose, of what we've seen throughout the tournament, I would put Vega Squadron and Optic probably at 1 and 2. And, I mean, obviously they've made it through, so it makes sense, but they had a tough opponent. SG Esports was not easy to go up against Vega Squadron from what has been somewhat of a competitive drought. They've basically just been playing against South American teams in qualifiers and not really succeeding aside from this qualifier, but being able to expose yourself to an international team like Vega Squadron and not look completely lost and take a game with some weird picks inspires confidence going up against Na'Vi.
Yeah, I like that point because it's interesting the way the tournament is shaken out in the first couple days. Both days, our first two series were both 2-1s, and the nightcap was 2-0. And as a result, we have two pretty clear best teams through to the semifinals, but it's really not clear who that third best team is.
Yeah, this is like a competition who the best, second best CIS team is besides Virtus.pro is above everyone else, and then you have Na'Vi, Vega Squadron actually showing some great performance in this tournament. FlyTheMoon also.
Themselves.
Yeah, I mean, and look, that is, I want to emphasize, that is a critical storyline because Virtus.pro, the only team mathematically guaranteed to be at the International 2018, more than likely, you maybe throw in Empire into that conversation as well, talk about Spirit a little bit, but more than likely, one of these three CIS teams is going to have a really good shot at coming through the qualifiers to TI, and at least if you base it on the last couple of weeks, it's not a lock that it's going to be Na'Vi.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk with Mag, who recently played.
Legendary offlaner.
Yeah, who played for Meneski for quite some time. I asked him what are his plans for the future. He said that he wants to form a team, go through CIS qualifiers. Like there's a team that's good for a month. This like second best CIS team besides if we don't count VP in, and he has. A great, I think he has a great success with his past teams, and I think he wants to form a team with Sonaiko if he decides to come back, which is going to be great. Like
FlyTheMoon is that kind of
captain.
Random stack of CIS players who are just like, we're kind of teamless. The thing is that they managed to get in before the roster lock, so they're able to run through these qualifiers. But CIS stacks are terrifying.
Yes.
You just need to find 5 players who don't hate each other.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of them have a lot of experience, so all pretty known players played for many teams together. They just need to maybe settle down a little bit, be less egoistic, and that could be the formula for CIS region.
Maybe they need Coach Lacoste. You thought about it, my friend?
Well, I coached elements for a while, but I enjoy casting more. But let's focus on this one.
We do have a draft, and Na'Vi prioritizing taking out that Theodore Sand King and the Adriano Death Prophet, so very aware of the kind of hero preferences that we were talking about in the intro. SG on the other side are going to take out the Tiny, which is a very big flex pick for Na'Vi, played so ably by Crystallize, and they're going to take out the Beastmaster, which General has been really good on that hero.
I think if you're SG, it may be in your best interest to target Crystallize, which is difficult to do because he has a very large hero pool and it doesn't really matter who you put him on. Like any hero after like 2 or 3 performances, I'm like, oh, well, that's clearly a signature Crystallize hero, but he's just very efficient at working with this Na'Vi team. And I don't think Theolacor is as strong of a core, Costabile is as strong of a core as Crystallize.
I always like to sit down with the players, have a talk with what's happening in the team, if they want to talk about it. Like Crystallize is a really young player, and he's not vocal at all. Like, he just says sometimes, like, give me a Terrorblade, and that's it. Like, and he solo wins the game with the Terrorblade.
Man, he is. I never thought I would be saying this, but he is the one guy that makes me sort of miss Slark being a hero because his Slark was really cool.
True.
But Na'Vi answers the question here, and you heard the Partisan CIS crowd likes that opening Willow pick. I was wondering, they had the first overall pick in the draft and had banned the Death Prophet themselves, which had been a staple first pick for them. And the answer is, of course, they want that Willow, and they don't want to give the DP away to SG.
Yeah, Nyx Assassin is really good against Dark Willow because of the ultimate, so he can easily stun her, go into the Bramble Maze just to keep her in place. Also, you have a stun if she goes into Shadow Realm, so you can control her. Like, Lion is one of my favorite heroes against the Dark Willow. I guess Nyx Assassin can work out as well.
Stuff, yes. Leshrac as well. But still an incredibly menacing, what will I imagine to be a little hero, but could also be given to LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron played it yesterday.
Right. So then I guess it is going to be LeBron and Lil on the Tusk.
So this opening, I think they had the same 2 heroes in one of the games, Dark Willow and Tusk, and I told LeBron about it that this opening is really weak to a hero like a Puck, which gave them a lot of opportunity for Fnatic to come back into the game because they lacked lockdown. And then you had nothing to control the Puck with. I mean, you can use a Bramble Maze, but they were more relying on that Lashrak that they had.
Yeah, was that the game where they had the Puck and the Pango? And
Yeah,
they were just
buying time for Medusa.
Yeah, cutting waves, and the catch just wasn't there. They would cut the waves, and even when the Puck died, they were having to bring 4 heroes to that lane, and it was so much space around the rest of the map.
Yeah, so they can go for a somewhat greedy mid. They ban out Lina, and that's not really a hero, but it may be getting something like a Lina on the side. I mean, sorry, they ban out Queen of Pain.
Queen of Pain, yeah.
And I feel like they may want to be gearing towards Alina because that's a Dendi hero, so if you can deny that from him.
I don't think Queen of Pain is in a good
no,
state right now, and
really
the matchup.
But I think it's like mid lane matchup specifically.
Yeah, but I still think that Lina has a better matchup.
Yeah, it's just Queen of Pain in her heyday was, and obviously she's a snowball teamfight presence hero, but her laning presence right now just feels way, way too weak for a hero that needs to snowball.
And the other thing is, with the net worth changes, she's sometimes a liability. You build up a great net worth on her, and then she's a blinking, initiating hero. If she compromises some sort of spell combo, she gives up so much net worth for such a high risk.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem that that Furion had for a while, and the reason he's come back in the 4 position is that he's just a bag of gold at some point.
So this could be another Lina game since they pick Crystal Maiden. You want to have those heroes that are mana-dependent, Razor and Nyx Assassin. Both
could go
need
for
a lot
Storm
of mana
as well. I don't know if 40R plays it.
And they did have the Crystal Maiden in Game 1 yesterday when they beat Vega Squadron. They had the will of themselves in that game, and they pick up a Centaur to go with it. That's not the hero I thought we were going to see.
So that's a Clockwork.
Generals.
I mean, Clockwork is good in 1 versus 1 scenario. That's General's hero. With the Dark Willow and Tusk, they can go aggressive tri-lane. Just get one more hero. It's really strong. Dark Willow really excels in 3 versus 3.
I'm a little bit dubious on that just because you've already got a Razor on the board from the other side, and when you're thinking about going aggro tri-lane, you're gonna have that 1v1 matchup to worry about in the other lanes.
Yeah.
I guess the reason why they picked Clockwork is they
That's
saw
the reason why you
Crystal.
said the opening.
That
There's lack of lockdown.
Yes,
Well,
I mean
the SF is still on the board too.
Right.
You have both supports who have nothing to run away with if you go with the hookshot and the barrier assault. Especially Crystal Maiden, she's really weak in the laning stage and has a low movement speed. So if you catch her, if Clockwork gets help at the start, gets to level 3, gets the boots, the Crystal Maiden can't get caught out of position, otherwise she's gonna die.
No, that was really the rationale when you saw just the wave of int supports that were buffed in 7.12. That was why, is that so many of these int supports, like your Crystal Maidens, to a lesser extent your Lions, were just getting run at in these aggro dual lanes and no food.
Yeah, Underlord is still in the pool, which
you and
kind of
Winter
surprises
are real
me.
Underlord fans.
Yeah, I mean, really
he
good.
looks so good at DAC, it's hard to argue.
But for some reason in this tournament it hasn't been as favored. Like you guys had almost forgotten about it in the previous panel because you were like, we need a tanky frontliner, Tidehunter still in the pool, and you just assumed that Underlord was banned at some point. They're going to go for a Void.
Okay. I mean, you can't argue with Silence Void from the last series.
I guess they didn't want to pick him right away because there was still OD in the pool, so that would kind of shut down the Underlord.
10 seconds remaining.
Faceless Void, that could possibly be an off-lane Faceless Void, but they could, I mean, it's a flex pick, so is Nyx Assassin. But I don't see too much synergy coming out from SG with their lineup so far.
And there's the other half of that vaunted Clock SF combo. Again, a cheer goes up from the crowd. Dendi will have those souls to start off the advantage in the mid lane, even if he's facing that Razor.
Means that Crystallize will get somewhat sacrificed because Shadow Fiend's going to need protection, especially against a Razor mid. And still the flex remains for the Faceless Void, so you need to pick a core for Crystallize that isn't going to get hassled too much by Razor. Luna is still available, although has not been picked at all this tournament, even though Pycat and Crystallize
I've been
both
surprised
play it.
by that.
Yeah. Terrorblade is still
there.
in the
TB has got to factor into the discussion somewhere, right?
I mean, they needed tower damage, some raw damage, so that would fit
Could
Navi's lineup.
Troll's very irritating for Void to deal with.
Shadowfiend will not need help on a mid lane. Like, you have two supports who are really weak on side of SG. Like, Crystal Maiden is really low on movement speed. Nyx Assassin, like, that stun is really hard to land if they're going to play him as position 4.
But the Razor Shadowfiend, like, if it's a pure 1v1, oftentimes, well, I guess the souls of the Clockwork Cogs may assist enough.
I like the Troll.
He just needs
here.
the boots of speed earlier, and that's it. Like, he can't die to Razor.
But how are you going to buy an Aquila? It's all about the Aquilas.
Man, that item.
They're just going to buy boots of speed earlier, that's it, and then go for other
The
items.
Aquila. The triple mango Aquila.
I'm pretty sure
This
that
is not
item
1
needs a
versus
nerf.
1 tournament.
No, it's not going to be.
Yeah, when you see the off-lane Nature's Prophet rushing Aquila and taking the tower at 5 minutes, that item's probably a little too good.
Ban out AA.
So they mean that they think that Nyx Assassin is the offlane, and they could go for a Dragonite also. They need that tower damage that could fit to the profile.
And they ran Crystallize on the safe lane DK 2 times yesterday, and he looked, despite the results, he looked really good.
I mean, that game should have been won when they played against Fnatic. I talked with Navi about it, like, we just needed the BKB there, and then they said, they just picked the heroes. You can't siege the base against the Kanka, Medusa.
Right.
It's pretty impossible.
Laposa does have a history of running Razor, though. And so if it's an offlane Razor and they go into a DK, then Crystallize is going to be kind of confused. Granted, that means your mid lane matchup is a little bit easier, but SG Esports, they know Shadowfiend's going to be mid. You can send the Razor offlane on Laposa, and you still have an option to beat the matchup that Navi thought they had.
I'm still thinking of a hero for SG, since they don't have any good combos to combine with Faceless Void, and that Nyx doesn't provide anything. Razor is decent. Crystal Maiden.
Gyro is, yeah, that's the big one that I was thinking about. Oh, wow. You want to talk about a CIS special from way back, the Chaos Knight. And that, you know what, that might make you think twice about that Gyrocopter. A lot of people think, oh, the Gyrocopter's got his flat cannon, but he's super vulnerable even with BKB. Once CK gets his talent, he gets rifted and he's dead.
Yeah.
The Gyrocopter still may be your best option here, but
I think you're more reliant on Faceless Void. You could send the Gyro mid, let Faceless Void take the safe lane, and still send. I still think Razor offlane is the play.
Is OD still in the pool?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. OD's a little bit risky single target against the CK, but gives you 2 pretty solid solo inners.
Yeah, especially
and you
against
have a
3
double
strength
save.
throws or 2 strength throws.
OD sounds good. Or this
Medusa. One. Wow, so that's interesting. The CK Medusa is something that can go both ways. Obviously, the CK has to worry about turning his illusions, his phantasm illusions around if the Medusa can go Ags, and then they just insta-die.
Right.
But Navi is going to be able to bring a lot of pressure here in the early game. Gentlemen, as our second best-of-3 series of the day is ready to kick off here, let's lay it all on the line. Who have you got, Lacoste?
Navi, definitely. SG lanes are going to be so weak, and they have Faceless Void and Medusa. Both of the heroes need a lot of time to come online, and if this Razor is not active early on, they're just going to lose all 3 lanes.
I had doubted the Crystal Maiden in the previous series with SG Esports, and I think they might have a cute strategy going with the mana reduction talent in Medusa. And so they were able to pull off a Centaur strat with the Crystal Maiden. This time I'm curious to see if they can pull off the Medusa strat, so I'm going to give it to SG.
Oh, I like it. We're going to have a split panel, 1-to-1 here so far. I'm going to lean slightly with Lacoste. I think Navi is going to be able to bring too much early game pressure, but if SG gets that Q combo online, watch out later. All right, boys, it is time for your second series of the day, and get your K-Konas and Mingleys in the chat. Here are Lyrical and Winter.
Oh my God, Nahaz, thank you for that lovely, lovely introduction. My man, Mr. Winter, it's Navi versus SG, and I'm excited. I can't wait. The crowd out there is excited. It's full of SG fans, I'm sure. What do you think about the drafts?
How can you go up against Navi when they're on home ground?
I know,
and they have the
true.
crowd behind them, and they have the CK pick, one of Crystallized special heroes.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I like looked at the heroes and I looked at them and we saw the Medusa come out and I was like, that looks really, really scary, because Medusa, one of the best counter picks against CK. Is it scary to you as well?
Yeah, it's a hero that means that your illusions are gonna just die very quickly in the fights, but they do have quite a draft that is slow. Like the Void, Medusa, those heroes need to farm a lot. They have long cooldowns, and you know, with the recent change to the patch, teams have been trying to draft slower because that's what the changes in the game suggest, that the game would be slower with the reduction on gold on towers, the reduction on gold on killing the base. And it seems like teams are just like still trying to figure out maybe this is the way to play Dota. But generally, I would say that the first impressions sometimes might not be the best way of playing the patch. But right now, this is the general idea. I think most of the teams are approaching the game right now.
It's at least the way that we're going to be seeing it in this one. And farming meta, time to take themselves a Medusa. We also have the Cat Crystal Maiden. This guy has just been all over that hero. I think it's the only thing that he's played so far this tournament, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see how it works out for him, giving that entire team a little bit of a better laning stage right at the start of it. And you said that you feel like CM is in some ways kind of good against CK as well.
Yeah, the Nova, like the Nova and plus Freezing Field, you have so much AoE to just... You don't really need to kill the CK, you just need to kill the illusions. Then he has very little damage in the fights. And on top of that, they have the Medusa, like we mentioned earlier. And Na'Vi right now, because they're doing this like SF with the cogs, you get the souls, they are very likely to lose possibly 3 runes if their opponents plays accordingly. Crowd chanting, Dandy has 12 souls. Let's go.
Oh, it's happening already. The Na'Vi chants. Very much all in the favor of the CIS Classic team. Looks like a Sentry Ward going to be placed down there early. Going to miss, unfortunately, on it. That sucks. What you want to do.
Minus 100 gold.
Oh, Na'Vi. They take away one of their own.
That was like a sentry for a sentry. An eye for an eye.
An eye for an eye leaves the whole map blind. Costabile playing on the Faceless Void, where it looks like they're going to be running an aggro lane. Nyx Assassin up there with the Void. And
I like this.
What are you looking at? What's going on?
Yeah, they just want to like pressure the CK, because CK is really good at bullying one offlaner, but he's not so good at like maybe dealing with multiple heroes because he's single target. And Razor's, I think the lane matchup, Razor fares really well against the CK. Oh, good block here by Leo. He's gonna do a lot of damage. I don't think they can kill him, but just like damage. He has Fairy Fire. He should wait a minute.
Oh my goodness! They're just running him down, and there's the kill.
Huh?
All right, let's
why did he not pop Fairy Fire? Oh.
Well, maybe he thought he was dead regardless, but keep in mind right now what just happened. You've got a Medusa alone against a Tusk with 12 souls and also, or rather a Shadow Fiend with 12 souls and a Tusk in her lane.
Oh, this is bad. This is bad for the Medusa. And because she skilled the Mystic Snake, once she used it, they decided that they could just kill him because she don't have mana shield.
40R again in a lot of trouble. The snowball forward, they find the right click. This is going to be enough. They're diving here underneath the tier 2 tower almost, and with the rotation in from Cat, didn't actually have any mana. They're still looking for this kill, going to be able to punch. They don't have a Frostbite on CM, but...
this Medusa is like better off dying here already. Like, she can't even... Oh, this is so bad because they have this like weak support. CM doesn't really offer much during the laning phase, so and they decided they need to help the Razor because Razor is not like a hero that
he's just dead. Cat doesn't have mana right now for a Frostbite and just gonna get punched to death by Lil. So they find themselves another kill, and Lil's Tusk is doing a ton right now, and 40R almost pushed back underneath his own tower as well.
Yep, totally abusing the fact that CM is just such a weak early game hero before she gets the levels. And just punishing the fact that SG is just really greedy with the whole draft, the laning phase, and just kill after kill. And like I mentioned, Razor is not an offlaner you want to leave alone. That's why the Nyx Teoliko, he just feels that he needs to be on top to protect him. And bot lane, right now, actually they swapped lanes, so wait, I didn't realize the Razor was bot.
Yeah, they switched it up. Laposa Razor, it's sort of a weird one. The other thing is that CM has to walk all the way back to lane 277 movement speed on that hero. A very, very long walk and still level 1.
She's still faster than Trian now.
There you go. But another rolling in. Come and try and take this kill onto Medusa. Dendi finds another one. 2-0-0.
Okay, this lane is over. This lane is so over for the Medusa.
And, I mean, they don't really have that many other heroes that do things, right? Like, Void doesn't do any damage at all.
That's why I said their draft is really greedy, even though the CK is kind of countered against the enemy lineup. But I feel like their lanes are just like so powerful. They're just taking full advantage of it. And General in the off lane, he's being left alone because he's a Clockwork. He doesn't really need the help. He's able to get CS, some farm, some experience. Like SG has too many heroes to protect. They have to protect the Razor. Then they have to, you know, the Void is on off lane and he's the carry and you don't want to leave him alone. There's like too many points in their draft that needs to be protected. And Na'Vi has this Clockwork SF. So SF plus Tusk is pressuring one lane a lot. And the other lanes also need help. So there's like not enough resource to distribute throughout the SG lineup.
And Lil is just going to move back in here again and bully 40R blocked off from the creeps even. And honestly, Lil might be able to force out some more rotations here as does have that mana shield still being held by 40R.
Man, he just can't play the game.
Yeah. Can't even jungle. Feels real bad in Cat underneath the tower. They are going to end up losing the CM yet again. Most likely. All right, there's the kill. Flare for the finish. Level 4 General right now, just bullying the hell out of the level 2 CM.
Well, this is why we don't see CM a lot. I mean, we saw one CM game from Secret. Secret tried one game, and after that,
they didn't
lost
play it again.
Yep.
Level 3 Medusa right now against the level 5 Shadow Fiend, and another rotation in from Lil is probably just going to be the death of them as they are looking to go in the mid lane there, seeing if they can bully out this Medusa, and well, they hit onto one Raze, Impale to stop the pressure. They gotta protect this Medusa.
There's nothing they can do anymore because the lane is like so one-sided already. Even if you send like supports over, so what? What can you do to the SF, which is level 5 right now?
Yeah, just gotta hope that they overextend and make a bad decision because otherwise it's not happening. General going to get a lot of the damage sucked away there. Leposa is at least having a nice time bottom. That is the saving grace right now for SG, this Razor.
Can Razor turn the game around? Maybe?
Curse Crown, top lane, Costa Bile in some trouble. 2-second stun as well as the root. Beautifully done by Na'Vi.
Beautiful spell casting there. One on top of the other, not stacking it. Well, Na'Vi just on fire here in front of their home crowd. Lil finds the Medusa again.
Look at this guy. He doesn't end up throwing out Mystic Snake there, but again...
Oh, here comes Liposa. He's TPing to help his team. Oh, cancels the TP.
They're instead going with the Nyx Assassin, able to punch here onto Lil. Well, might be in some trouble. Does have the shard still after the fact.
He's gonna shard,
and
yeah, soon.
That should stop it. Fairy Fire and the shards. He's away.
Oh well, this toss has just caused so much issues here. And on top of things, this Clockwork is going to be level 6 soon, and this CM is just going to be easy pickings.
Well, General right now is getting ran at, but again, he pops the cogs and just going to be able to walk away. Cat in the area as well. They'd love to be able to find a kill here. Leposa actually going up on the high ground. A little bit of odd pathing there. He might have been able to run down the Clockwork with his Purge passive.
Maybe, but the Tusk was nearby, so
yeah.
I think he should be fine regardless on the Clockwork. A free farming CK. That is going to be some problems coming up soon. And 4DR, Adriano getting bullied out of the lane once more. This has been the story of his life for the first 6 minutes.
This is the saddest Medusa. And now Theodore going to also be taken down. They're just running at them. 6-0 start. It's undeniable.
Na'Vi is just destroying. This Razor has to do something. This Razor has to find a lane, TP there, smoke or whatever, do something.
Leposa trying to make it happen top. They want to punish this CK if at all possible. No Chronosphere yet. But maybe they can get lucky with the bash or something. Crystallize. See if it can go on Costa Bile. They're baiting this out pretty well. They're able to get the Nova there. Ulti pops. It's only one illusion though, and they still reveal which one is the real CK. But now the rotation's coming in. They're moving in with the Dark Willow, and SG can't do anything.
Way too tanky, the CK. Without Chrono, it's just way too difficult for them to get that kill.
Yeah, it feels like maybe that rotation too early.
But he has no choice. The team was under so much pressure that he had to do something.
Yeah.
And he felt like the...
Oh, he actually kills off Lil. Leposa making a play with all that damage stolen, but...
Might pay his life though.
As they're being able to run him down, stealing damage, running away is going to drop. Cat hits a Frostbite, but there is no follow-up at all. So Razor makes a little bit of space as they send heroes top, and it's at least something for the Medusa, but she's still getting
Dandy.
4 levels behind this
He's
SF.
exerting his dominance over this Medusa right now. Like every creep, you want to take a creep? Take a race.
Yeah.
Take a race and another race. And half of your HP is gone.
54 last hits, 52 denies for the SF.
Yep, Dandy is like the deny lord. If you notice his games, he always has a very high count of deny.
Hostabal going to need to jump away lest he gets pulled back in and killed off. Honestly, it feels like it's whatever they want. Lil, though, maybe in some trouble. He's going to snowball over to the creeps, trying to get out of there. General able to catch now on the Theo Liquor, so that Nyx is going to drop again. 8-1, and, well, in the meantime, Leposa trying to take down General. Hook shot over to his ally, and they get out. Na'Vi not punished. 4,000 net worth, 8 minutes.
This is actually unbelievable how much they're dominating their opponents, just taking advantage of their weak lanes, their greedy draft, and SG. You know, it's not even like they're playing really bad. It's just like the nature of like the lineup they have. They are really limited on the moves they can make before Void has Chrono. And Razor's like he's trying his best. He's the one that has the most amount of farm from the laning phase, and he's moving around, trying to help the other lanes, but so far not working so well.
Well, 2-second stun, the route to follow. Hostabal not going to die this time. And in fact, they might decide to turn here onto Crystallize. They find the Impale follow-up as they're trying to take down this CK, but Crystallize is just not having it.
He still has like 16 wand charges. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that guy is large and in charge right here. Man, this is a problem.
Problem?
This is about as bad as it gets for SG.
What's worse than a problem?
Calamity.
So Medusa needs like so much time to farm. Void needs a lot of time to farm. They have Chrono now. They have to try to... I think Void cannot really play like a position 1 this game. The Void has to be more of like a utility. Try to fight when you have Chrono. Make some space. Maybe buy Ags this game. I don't know, like the Void can't really... You can't play the Void as a carry because of how bad the laning phase went this game.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be given to the Queen Medusa.
So
she's the queen of the draft here.
So what would you think then? Like going Vlad's potentially? Is that the play?
Helm.
Okay.
I like Helm.
Oh, Dendy. They find a kill. The rotation in from Leposa.
Yep.
That's huge.
That is what the Razor has to do. He has to be doing the... Him and the Void essentially has to be like the sacrificial roles. Run around, try to set up kills whenever they can. And General is going to find a Void. He just time walk.
Oh, he doesn't have the mana either. No way out of there. CM, can they get him out? And it does look like Hostabal starting to walk away. They make it work. General not able to find that kill. Well, maybe here as well as in the top lane. Crystallize gonna get one more hit there. Can they find the finish? And trying to take him down, but instead kill off Leposa. Well played indeed. That is a Nyx assassin, not able to hit his Impale. He's getting body blocked, and they give the kill to the Illusion.
Well done there by Leo. He had a rough day yesterday. He did not play well, but today he is on fire. Making the right moves, you know, setting up for his carry, saving his carry, securing the lanes, bullying the enemy supports. Like, he's just doing everything for his team right now.
And ahead of the Medusa in farm. This is not a good day right here for that Medusa. Again, it's a good counter for CK, but is it still when you're this far behind?
Underlord could have been a counter to CK. Underlord is not so greedy.
You and your Underlord, my man.
I mean, it's true. Like
Yeah,
they have a really greedy draft here. If they pull it off, obviously they're gonna have like a really strong mid to late game, very good high ground. But right now, Liposa, the man that's been relieving the pressure for his team, is getting gone on. Seems like he's gonna be saved by Teleco.
That's a nice play. Nyx Assassin, outside of that Razor, has been one of the shining lights of at least buying some time for their team. And, you know, you take a look at it, there's no Tier 1 towers down. It's only 12 minutes in, and maybe that's, you know.
Void has a helm.
Yeah, Void has a helm. There's things that are going, like, kind of okay, but this is not necessarily one of them, as they are able to find the fear and the kill onto Leposa. Nyx Assassin likely to fall as well. And
tower Nyx.
Yeah, this is going to be a tower.
Oh,
Cat.
Bonus kill, CM.
In no man's land. This is not where you want to be, Missy. That is another kill as Na'Vi just dominant.
I can tell you that's Navi's land right now, not SG's land. just taking over the map here and destroying everyone that's trying to defend the tower. Tough times, Gabe.
And I mean, Medusa does have, you know, her level 8, so an ability to sort of like show up and at least pop ultimate, but it does feel like she might die before they're even able to get the proc onto these heroes.
Medusa has less net worth than Lil,
Yeah, man.
the support task. So yeah, that tells the story of the game.
It's a little bit of a problem.
A little bit of a problem. Okay. This is not a problem at all. My carry has less net worth than the enemy support.
Yeah.
It's just a small problem, you know?
Yeah.
Relax, guys. We got this. This is what Gabe is trying to say in this situation.
Chronosphere, top lane. They've also got CM ulti if they want to invest a skill point into it. But not going for it as of yet. It's... God,
Gosh,
you said all 4 of those heroes around.
700 net worth CM. That's painful.
Yeah. And they're hunting again in the jungle. Crystallize is pushing bottom, but they're trying to find Dendi right now. And they don't have the Void, though, and they pop ultimate from Laposa. I guess that they're going to steal away his farm, but at least going to be able to pressure the top tier 1 tower while Na'Vi take bottom.
The Dark Willow and the Cloud is hunting for heroes here in jungle. They're looking for the Medusa. Can they find him? They're pinging him. They know he's there. They see him. There's a ward there in the Ancients area. They want this kill.
Yeah, and, well, it doesn't look like it's going to be coming super easy. Lil is level 8 on this Tusk.
They get a tower at bot, but they gave away a tower at top. That's not ideal for the winning team. Because when you're winning, you give no quarter. You take that tower, you defend your tower. There's nothing to exchange for. No even exchange. Any even exchange is bad.
Yeah. Because it means it's buying more time for SG. And, you know, we've talked about this lead. It doesn't really matter as much if they're not able to get objectives off of it.
Yep. Objective is the name of the game.
And they are getting them, definitely. Na'Vi playing it about as well as you could right here.
High ground will probably be another different story later, but as long as they amass a good lead, they secure Roshan, they have Aegis, they cheese, they refresher shot, slowly but surely they'll be able to break the base. But before that happens, they have to slowly chip away all the remaining outer towers right now. There's like still 5 remaining towers they have to take.
This is looking pretty easy peasy for Na'Vi as they spot out Costabao there as well. Now, Na'Vi gonna play this safe. They do throw out a Walrus Punch over to the side.
They should be moving to mid to take the tower right now. This tower is really, really important because Medusa has been using the protection of the mid tier 1 to farm the left and right Ancients around her.
Yeah.
And she has a lot of safety when there's a tower there. So if they can remove that tower, then it will make it difficult for Adriano and the Medusa to come back into the game.
Yeah, Na'Vi making all the right moves right here, and they're just going to walk forward and try and force a reaction. Cat in some trouble. They popped the Medusa ulti. The CM ulti did absolutely nothing there, and now the roll forward, the stun is going to come out. Requiem of Souls from Dendi. Do they have enough damage? The Chronosphere, it's on to 2, but the Dark Wall ulti is going to kill Costabel almost while he's inside of it. It didn't quite bring him down, but they will be able to find the finish after the fact. Laposa alone. Na'Vi showing no mercy.
No mercy, no quarter, just 100% destruction here. SG losing 4 heroes, losing a tower, and this Na'Vi army just heading one tower after another and just destroying everything SG throws at them.
I mean, the ping comes for the top lane, but honestly, Na'Vi know Chronosphere is down. They know that Medusa ulti is down. They're going to go high ground right now. And 16 minutes into this game, 10,000 net worth lead. SG flabbergasted by the pain that's been unloaded onto their faces. Right now, Crystal Maiden has dreams of a mango. That's about all that they could hope for, is trying to run away. Dark Willow roots absolutely everybody. Na'Vi thinking about trying to stick around and finish off this tower, but playing it safe.
It's really, really good damage already. They don't have to try and force things too much. It's still really early into the game. Not the point where they could finish the game. So once the CKLT just got destroyed, back off, reset, claim the remaining outer towers. There's still a lot of outer towers for them to claim, so a lot of objectives, more like 2 more towers. And Roshan is still available. Those are the 3 immediate objectives in mind for Na'Vi. SG is just praying and praying that time will be on their side, so the Medusa will be able to farm and get items.
I mean, the thing that's scary about this, though, is Crystallize is building towards a Blink Dagger next. That's the take high ground item. That's the jump forward with your ulti, blow up Medusa before she gets hers off.
The Nyx and the Void has to try and find pickups around the map if they are Vendetta, the Chrono, like the Nyx Chrono, They need to just like do something to even create a distraction to try and slow down the push. They can't even creep skip with their heroes, that's the issue. Remember the games where it was Fnatic when they had this kind of late game hero? They had the Pango and the puck cutting waves and delaying.
With the Medusa in it, yeah.
Yeah, but this game, SG did not have this kind of heroes. They have like brawling heroes like Razor, Void. They just want to go and fight you. But because they lost their lanes, those brawling heroes doesn't do anything now. They feel really, really weak.
Yeah, a creep skipping Razor is not a Razor that you want to play. So 18 minutes, 2-17 with an 11,000 net worth lead, and a Dragonlance going to be coming out for SF. Maybe you can make the argument that like a BKB could be solid, but wanting to ensure that they don't get into a bad position towards late game is they're going to head top and see what they can find there.
Yep, they just want to cover the Medusa. She wants to farm the top lane, the top side of the meta for ward, the top lane.
There is a Roshan being taken.
Smoke
Cat
broken.
has an idea. They have the CM ulti as well. If they can get a good Chronosphere here, it is going to be on to 2. Not bad at all, but the fear! It pushes them into the Chronosphere! Dark Willow, LeBron Dota saving the day, and Na'Vi going to absolutely destroy SG. That was the most value terrorize ever.
That fight was just towards Dark Willow. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That hero just single-handedly stopped 4 heroes in their tracks. No one could do anything. And that chrono was wasted. Roshan not even going to be bothered and just straight into the racks right now for Na'Vi. Just sensing blood in the water. Time to close out the game.
This is disgusting. Na'Vi, they knew what they needed to do. 14,000. They come and are going to take down the tower. Guess what? They don't have Chronosphere either. They can't do anything to stop this. Man. When you have to walk into your own chrono.
They can watch, you say they can't do anything, they can watch. Watch the Rex go down.
LeBron is feeling pretty good about himself right now. And 19 minutes in, this is the biggest victory so far that we've seen, I think, at this tournament. The biggest stomp that we've had.
Didn't we have like a stompy? No?
We might have had one more, but this to me feels like
this must be the biggest one. Yeah, you're right. This is like the best performance we've seen here by Na'Vi.
Whew. Well, the 20-minute mark, but what are they going to do? I don't really know. I mean, again, they're going for the Shadow Blade on Void.
They're thinking about the next game, Next game, maybe we shouldn't be so greedy with our lineup.
Maybe next game, take Underlord. You freaking love that hero. Well, 2-21. It has been a while since I've seen a score like that. They get the minus armor on Roche from the Reality Rift, and Na'Vi looking to try and secure the first Aegis, which might just secure them the game. And it's going to be a Blink Dagger done on Crystallize once this is completed. Who do you go on if you're able to blink in and take somebody out of the fight at the start?
Medusa. Medusa, the Void. Those are the primary targets. Razor and Nick's CM doesn't really do anything anymore now. Dark Widow just does too much.
Well, the Blink moving out now for Crystallize, and again, SG trying to push out the creep waves wherever possible. They put some pressure onto the tier 1 bottom, with several heroes still in the area as they are maybe trying to bait out Dendi, and SG, yeah, they need to get out of there now.
This guy has Aegis. Not a good idea.
No. I mean, there are some of the items that are up now, but like drums on Razor doesn't feel like it's nearly enough. I mean, SF is a full, like, big item ahead of everybody else on SG's lineup.
SF is not the only one. Yeah. Look at how fat is the Tusk.
Yeah, that's fair enough. 3rd highest net worth in the game on Lil.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen a support Tusk being this rich. I mean, granted, they are stomping so hard.
Yeah. Well, we do have the Shadow Blade available on the Faceless Void. And we didn't get to see the really solid combo because of the Terrorize that came out earlier. But if they do manage to get them, it could be good.
So you have to chrono the Dark Willow, you have to chrono the CK or the SF.
That SF
That's a huge ask
here.
Dark Willow is definitely going to stand behind.
Yeah, they're ready for this. They do have the Nyx Assassin there, but 2 Sentry Wards. They're blocking all the areas around the map here. They have all the vision in the world. It's so difficult to initiate here. And General able to zone out that Faceless Void from moving in. They don't have eyes on this Sentry Ward that's over on the other side. Instead, they've been able to find the Nyx Assassin, isolating Cat as well. Costabout thinking about going in for a Chrono, but it's so hard to make this work. And Crystallize gets the stun, gets the jump. He can't even get the Chrono off before Medusa dies. They're going to TP in here. Curse Crown as well, going to connect. Hits onto 2 of them, and CM, it was a desperate ultimate, but it was not nearly enough. And now they're going to be able to take down another. Na'Vi stomping. And this should probably be about close to GG as SG lose everybody.
Well done, very well done by Na'Vi. What a game, what a storm.
2 kills, Winter, 2 kills. And Na'Vi feeling mighty good after that one.
At least there are 2 kills, right? That's what you're saying.
I guess, yeah, at least they got 2 kills. I don't know. Gotta find something to talk about. Is there anything else really to say about that game? Just like, don't draft so greedy, basically?
Yep, great. And they had a Medusa solo against the SF that had Clockwork Souls, so that isn't a really good idea.
With a Tusk there, too?
Yeah. The lane was just like far too skewed for her, unless she gets help. Maybe if she gets help.
Yeah.
But the Nyx decides to, you know, she was like on the off lane because the Void or the Razor was there. I don't know, they just had like too many holes to cover. And CM is not a presence. Like, CM is nothing in the early, you do nothing in the early game. You're just so weak.
You know, I will say, seeing a team talk afterwards at least is a sign that all is not lost. Like, if you lose like that and then there's no talking going on, to me, that feels like...
I mean, losing like that is still not the kind, not the worst.
Not the way.
Not the worst. No,
Yeah.
the worst kind of loss is say you mega crit the enemy, and then someone does some bad move. Oh, I'm just gonna, guys, I have enough gold to finish my Skadi or my Dagon. Oh, whoops, I got caught. I died, guys. Sorry, guys, I died. I don't have buyback.
Yeah.
And you lose the game. That's the worst kind of loss. And after you lose the game, no one's gonna talk to you.
I'm with you there. Actually, I know that feeling quite well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back in a little bit with game number 2. SG versus Na'Vi. Going to continue right after this. Let's head back to the panel, see what they thought about that very short game.
At their last event in GESC Indonesia, Na'Vi fell short against the South American team Pain Gaming, falling 1-0 and down to the lower bracket in that tournament. But they take care of business here in Game 1 against their compatriots SG Esports. Back on the panel here after a very short game. I've got Lacoste and Tsunami with me once again. And guys, we're going to be searching for things to say because I think all 3 of us agree that draft from SG got hugely punished.
Did you say SG?
I said they have potential, all right?
I wasn't going to call them out. Come on.
Listen, I've been hurt by calling Na'Vi many times before, and even after they claimed like a 6K net worth advantage and they were kind of struggling to take tier 1 towers, I was like, not again. Please don't. I mean, the crowd is loving it. Just let them have it.
This draft would lose 10 out of 10 games, even if the less skilled team played against a better team. I think, I mean, you have two supports who pretty much don't contribute anything at the laning stage. You can't feel the presence. On the other side, you have Tusk and Dark Willow. Tusk pretty much won the game from the start, the rotation to the mid lane just to secure Shadowfiend's lane. He at one point had 51 CS, so that's 50 denies. Some of them were cogs though, but still, they have no tools to fight with. You have nothing to start a fight. You need to land a Chrono. At that point, Shadowfiend and both CK are so farmed. The Shadowfiend went for SNY build just to tank up so he can't die in a Chrono. CK was already farmed enough also not to die. And the only thing they tried is to go for a Roche was a good idea, even if LeBron didn't land that 3-man terrorize, which was pretty much mind-blowing, but they would still win the fight.
Yeah, let's we'll get you into our highlights soon here. I don't want to have a panel segment this longer than the actual game, but you mentioned the denies, Lacoste. Yes, it's inflated by the cogs, but that's only the 9th time in over 16,000 games since TI5 that any hero has had over 50 denies by the 8-minute mark. And of course, most of those are the SFs. One of them's Paparazzi denying his own Venom wards. But still, the early kills in that, that lane were really devastating because you saw the Tusk bullying the Medusa, and what are you going to do? I mean, CM as a bully hunter is roughly as effective as bully hunters is in real life.
Yeah,
that's not going to do anything.
Topical. Yeah, Lacoste said they have no way of starting fights, but they also have no way of stopping fights. Crystal Maiden, she literally was throwing snowballs. That's her cosmetic, and they hurt about as much as a snowball. Every single time she TP'd in, Tusk would just abuse her with the Orb of Venom, and then Nyx Assassin would come in, but he had gone for Mana Burn, didn't have Carapace until way later, and ultimately the supports of Lil's Tusk and LeBron's Dark Willow were far more valuable.
Yeah, I give Liposa credit. He did his damnedest. He tried to rotate up top. They barely missed out on the kill against Crystallize. He's in on this action here mid. They did pick up one of the the kills we missed was a Chronosphere kill on onto Dendi mid, where Liposa played a key role. But other than that, just so few bright spots to talk about for SG.
Pushed him into the Chrono.
This, by the way, that was awesome. You know, LeBron, we've talked about some of his struggles since joining Na'Vi, but that was a nice one.
Yeah, even General bought Necrobook just to deal with the push and burn mana on Medusa.
Lil bought a Vlad's as well.
Yeah, they just wanted to finish the game.
They knew they needed to end the game because in my mind, I had said, like, if this goes to 30 minutes, the high ground defense is pretty exceptional if Medusa manages to get an Aghanim Scepter because you can shred through all the CK illusions and you don't really have a good way of sieging high ground aside from the Shadow Fiend, who I don't even know what Dendi ended up building this game. I don't know if the Observer ever clicked on him.
I don't think it didn't matter. I don't think it mattered.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, you know, look at the mini-map. That's the set of mid-racks is already down at that point. And the GG call, that's one of the 15 fastest games in the last 2 patches. Na'Vi dominate from start to finish. They didn't pick up 5 more kills, but we'll spot it to them. That was pretty convincing, guys. Adjustments for SG in Game 2. Is it as simple as just a little less greed in the draft?
Just better draft.
A little less Crystal Maiden.
That's one of the shittiest draft that I've seen in quite some time, I gotta say. I mean, I still don't get it how teams who compete in minors try to pull like this kind of a greedy, like
because you can get away with it a lot of the times.
Nah, like this draft is just bad. Like they love to play a different kind of heroes, but sometimes it works at the first game of the tournament when they picked Crystal Maiden, Lina, Centaur, Monkey King. They should have lost that game as well, but Vega kind of threw the game because they didn't siege well the tier 3 tower.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I also think a lot of teams, just on the general point, are kind of overvaluing the impact of the patch. I mean, yes, 28% if you average out the gold gain, nerfed for the 6 outer towers, 28% less gold. I mean, that is substantial, but push lineups are still powerful.
Even if the Medusa wasn't in the draft, though, I still think like any other mid laner would have gotten abused because CM is just so utterly useless at helping out some vulnerable mid, and Tusk is so intimidating. Tusk plus Shadow Fiend, you're guaranteed 2 raises for sure, and very, very few mids can put up with that.
Well, look, I mean, the thing that puzzled me so much is that you have the Razor. I mean, Razor is going to suffer there too, but not nearly to the same extent as that Medusa.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
So Crystallize, chosen by the algorithm, really hard to argue with any choice on the Na'Vi side of things. General, who we haven't mentioned, created a heck of a lot of havoc in that bottom lane, and again showcased some of the points that we've been making about the weakness of the CM and the support role. She went back down there after failing to protect the mid lane and just was food for the Clockwork.
She can't come back to the lane when he gets level 3, especially with the rotation from a Tusk. That's just a dead hero.
All right, well, I don't want to kick the dead horse too much. Let's put this one to bed. SG Esports do fall down in Game 1, but this is not a best of 1, it's a best of 3. They will get another chance with their tournament lives on the line. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back for Game 2. Stay tuned.